And a great big hey, howdy, hey to all my goofy goobers out there. Welcome back to Animanic with Comic Auzi and my darling doe, Disney Fanatic, where we talk about pretty much any piece of media as long as it's animated. And tonight we'll be watching The Sword in the Stone. Do you have any words to say about this movie?
Well, we're going to see the second time we've got a Walt Disney caricature in the Disney movies.
Yes, I was actually thinking about that like last week when we would have streamed this, but like... I was thinking about that. I was like, huh, you know, there is kind of a Walt Disney-ishness to
yes.
Merlin.
Yeah, Merlin, and then before we had Yen Sid when you were doing Fantasia. And Disney apparently never caught on that Merlin was meant to be a caricature of him.
And good for the animators, honestly, because they probably would have been taken out and flogged. No.
Which is even funnier if you watch Once Upon a Time, where the sorcerer and the sorcerer's apprentice is actually Merlin. That's funny. Like, okay, so whoever made this show is clearly longtime Disney fans.
I would make some sense of them being fused together if like he just became sillier with age. Grew a big fat beard.
Yeah, he's less silly in Once Upon a Time. I mean, it's dramatic. So
the dramatic Merlin. You have your fair share of dramatic Merlins. I won't deny that. But yeah, as far as this film,
plus he's not as elderly.
Yeah, so Merlin was on Sophia the First. He was. Yeah, I remember there was. He did make an appearance on that show once. But
if anything, even if people have never seen Sword in the Stone, they know Merlin.
Oh yeah, because here's the thing, like, this movie, I don't think it did terribly well at the time, but but like, you'll notice that movies that didn't necessarily do well, but Walt liked, got, like, big rides at the theme park. Like, Alice in Wonderland on opening day got a spinner ride, and then it eventually got its own dark ride. A non-successful movie wouldn't get a dark ride nowadays, but here we are.
Yeah, and Sword in the Stone, we got a Sword in the Stone in the middle of Fantasyland.
I mean, on the topic of movies that Walt was particularly fond of, he basically changed Snow White Castle to Sleeping Beauty's castle to tie into the movie, and evidently that movie didn't do well upon initial release.
And this is not the first adaptation of the King Arthur Legends, and it certainly wasn't the last.
Oh no,
but it's definitely unique because it solely focuses on Arthur as a child.
Yeah, that is a very unique element to it, because if you already know the story, then it's like, well, why not do a different take on it? I think this may be one of the first, like, that I can think of that does that whole the origins of the infamous, like King Arthur, it's like, where did he come from? Cotton Eye Joe,
All right. Anyway,
but everybody, get into this. You should be able to find, actually, I'm going to double check that real quick, because I do have it in the upper right corner, but if it's incorrect, I'm going to have to
Fizzy. Merle Ambrose from Wizard 101 definitely had some Merlin inspiration. I mean, it's kind of obvious in his name and his look alone.
Yep, if you want to find it, it is on Disney+. We're watching it from a home media copy, but this one does not have the 90s logo. It starts right from Buena Vista Pictures. And this movie shouldn't have a warning on Disney+, because I can't think of a single racist thing in it off the top of my head. Then again,
is it racist against British people?
No, everyone in the movie is British.
I'm kidding.
All right.
Racist, that's nationalist?
I don't know. Elitist. Anyway, okay, enough offending the British side of this audience, if it exists at all. Everybody go ahead and get your copies ready. We're gonna sync them up in 3, 2, 1, go. Back when Walt Disney did actually present. We're only going to have this and one more movie before that's not going to be true. And Sword in the Stone.
Do they actually say Excalibur in here?
Not once. I do. Based on the book by T.H. White. Okay, so this...
Okay, so I will say... So
wow,
it
Frank
was based
Milk,
on the
Call, and
book.
Ollie. Wow.
It was based on the book. But it was only the first chapter of that book.
Fair enough. It's like they spent so long on the first chapter, like, well, Now we have a whole movie, and they're like, go with it. Character design by Milt Kahl and Bill Peet.
Oh yeah, Sebastian Cabot. I think I'm trying to think.
Didn't we see that name in the last movie?
Oh, we'll see him in the Jungle Book. He's Bagheera.
And I think Sebastian Cabot was.
He's also the narrator in Winnie the Pooh.
Beautiful.
The first narrator. I mean, there've been a lot since then, but
yeah. Best of which,
a British guy.
Best of which I think, like, of the newer narrators, I think personally is definitely John Cleese. Mm-hmm. Music by George Burns, but songs by the Sherman Brothers. Well, George Burns was also responsible for the music in the last movie. I can definitely hear it.
Wolfgang Reitherman. And
that's a name.
And one or two of his sons who and their voice to Arthur.
Man, was this movie?
We'll see Bruce Reitherman in the Jungle Book later.
Hmm. This is a very pretty opening.
Oh, Uther was definitely not a good king, if you know the stories.
Oof. Well, then good riddance, I say.
No, they actually leave out Arthur's parentage in this.
Yeah, they don't really discuss his parentage, because he's being kept by...
He is an orphan. They tell you that.
But he's being kept because he's orphaned, and, like... Bruce Reitherman was also Mowgli? And Christopher Robin in The Honey Tree before he was redubbed. Huh.
That's what I was saying. Bruce Reitherman was Mowgli and Christopher Robin because he was the director's son.
But Christopher Robin was redubbed by who?
No.
I suppose we'll get to that when we get to that. There's Sebastian Cabot. Take a shot every time Arthur's voice changes. Ooh, I think there's at least
true.
Like
wasn't it like 4 voices or something, or 3?
I think there's like this notion that like the first voice actor went through puberty and then they had to change it.
Yeah. 2 of them were brother. 2 of them were Wolfgang Reitherman's sons, I think.
Actually, that's the thing, especially in the same scene. Okay, love this art. I didn't see Claude Coates' name in the credits. I wonder if maybe he was moved to the theme park division, because by 1963 they were pretty deep in like the Haunted Mansion production, you know, for the theme parks.
Okay, that squirrel we're gonna see later.
Or at least a squirrel.
No, it's the same design too.
That's one hell of a foreshadowing moment.
And you know, with all this darkness, and you got this guy.
Yep.
I love how they make him like this modernist.
And a goopy. That's definitely part of the Walt Disney caricature, because Walt was also very much on the, like, wanting to be on the cutting edge of things.
I can imagine Walt Disney's old tantrums like this.
Oh, UK audiences didn't like Bruce's American accent in the original. So aside from his singing parts, he was redubbed by John Walmsley. But that might just be for the British release, though, because, you know. Yep. You can see they're still using the Xerox method with the sketchy lines.
Speaking of Winnie the Pooh, there's Rabbit.
That is Rabbit. Love that. Also, look at that. Look at that intense walk. And then there's this tottering little kid here.
You're gonna see a lot of his movements were later used for Mowgli in the Jungle Book.
Yep. I think it's again, it's that animation tactic of like, for the most part, the animated character can somewhat be seen as a caricature of their actor in small ways. As a young lad, there's only so many ways that Disney can draw a young lad. I love that schmuck. love the mouth.
Speaking of recycled animation, it's Bambi's mom again.
Oh God! This time she's actually gonna get away. Ooh, I love how that sketchy line work creates a nice effect on the strain. Whew. Wow. Man, could someone convince me that this animation was not rotoscope, because like that looks so realistic and subtle. Like it looks so less like an animated character. Like this. Like you can see the way he's squaring up his shoulders is very silly and cartoony. But when they were running around, it was like so realistically subtle. You can see it again.
I love how he just stops as soon as he said, I'm gonna go at the arrow. Like, oh really? Okay, that's more fun.
All right, well, I mean, you're gone and I don't have to worry. Well, this character certainly doesn't predate Wile E. Coyote, but it's a very Wile E. Coyote type character. And he doesn't show... He shows up in like this first... He shows up in like this first third of the movie and then never again.
Yeah. We see him later.
Yeah, but again, only in the first third. By the time they get to the castle, we never see him again. Literally out of the woods.
No, we see him later with the squirrels.
Really? Oh. I always forget that he's in that part of the movie.
Okay, but his design... Okay, I mean, while it's kind of been changed for this animation style, his design looks a lot like the wolf from Peter and the Wolf.
Yeah, much more scrawny and emaciated, though.
And browner.
And sillier, because he doesn't look terribly scary. The wolf in Peter and the Wolf was outright terrifying.
Yeah, but like the bone structure is kind of similar, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's a wolf. How many ways can you think of drawing a wolf? Yeah, he's not very British here.
Yeah. It's definitely less scratchy right now. I always love that bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's alive! And he's like, what?
That very much sounded like Rabbit there. I don't know, Fizzy. I think it might just be you. I hope you're just taking shot 4. I hope you're just taking shots of soda really hard, because that's a lot.
Did you see how Arthur's eyes suddenly turned blue?
Yeah. Yep. And Walt did like his trains, so...
And you know what was also was an innovator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always wanted to. Was interested in the new technology.
You know, I can see some of the areas where the animators were. Yeah. I love that blink animation. They love using it. It's funny. I like it. It's a very funny face. Ouchie. You can notice in some cases you can still see the construction lines and where the animators tried to erase them before their frames got Xeroxed. Because again, like I said, they're just scanning the pencils and then printing them onto celluloid. It's a great.
The sugar bowl is actually one of the emojis in Disney emojis.
That makes some sense. The sugar bowl is a real character. Also, probably part of an influence on like Beauty and the Beast a little bit. He does.
This movie's why I always say when, and I expect people to say when.
Right.
Most people don't get that. Like, say when, and they're like, that's enough. Like, but you didn't say
when. Just. Get over here. He's got the comfy chair.
Yeah, just.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, we see that animation a lot with the owl, like the side eyes.
We do. Again, it's like a second song really blew heart because we had the opening, even the animal skull there.
I love how they decided to make him a lot wackier than most Merlins we see.
I love these books. Probably not the first time we had floating books in animation, but definitely the one that influences most of the modern versions of floating books. Just for the amount of character it has. Because, like, you could see the real floaty feeling they're giving it all. Alright. I want to take a moment to talk about the song for a moment. This song is in a minor key, and it's really great and fun, right? But if you listen to, like, the original, like record version, like for a film soundtrack, they play part of it in a major key, and it's terrible. It's so gross. I love all of the dedication to rhyming going on here.
I know.
Oh, move it. That's an animation that gets stuck in your head. That's one you never forget.
The eyes!
Just keep going. Everything.
I wish I could do that. It would make moving so much easier.
Indeed. I mean, that's an excellent question. I love how you can tell they just went into an echoey sound stage for that They love that face. Like, even if they're not reusing the animation, that specific face they love a lot. Here he is again. I mean, if we have Wile E. Coyote, here we have Crafty Wolf.
Oh, here we go. I love this part.
You don't need to clean up the pencil lines for that. It's a lot of fun. Real puffball moment.
That's a good point.
The wolf so starving that he'll just eat someone that's basically skinning him bones.
I think it's kind of going along with all this.
I love this dedication to, like, keeping them very characterized. Like, there's a lot of confidence in Merlin's, like, he's an old man, but he's limber. And then the poor wolf. You gotta feel a little bit bad. Then again, if you don't feel bad for Wile E. Coyote, then you're probably, like, laughing your ass off at this, too. Which I am. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yes, talk about knowing where you're going.
And speaking of direction.
Take a moment.
There we go, good. Yeah. You were walking that whole time and didn't even know where you were going.
And down they go again. Alright, you know what? I'm giving... You know, Wolfie... I'd give up too.
Like, forget it.
Good night. Good night, Wolfie. Also, nice castle. The art is very simple on this film, but it's also fun. I think there's definitely a lot of fun with it.
This guy... Sebastian Cabot again.
That's Sebastian Cabot again, isn't it? Sounds a little bit like him. I think it is, yeah. Huh. And here are the doggies.
This guy is an interesting character.
And here's an animation we are going to see next week with Mowgli. Even that right there. Wipe. Oh, that's a voice. Wow. Ouchie. That sounds like the kid was just... You can hear the voice crack. He was... Because we're going to hear that voice later again, but he's going to sound much older. He's going to say, like, it was a monster. It was the biggest fish I ever saw. And she's like, oh, I'm not sure. He's very squeaky.
I didn't even question if the owl's talking.
Nope.
I was gonna say that. What's his name? Surrector. Yeah, Surrector.
Surrector. Yeah.
He looks a lot. He looks a lot like the dad in Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Animation wise.
I'd say he's exuding a lot of Walrus from Walrus and the Carpenter energy, just from how big he is, and also all.
Because I think I wonder if this is another. This might be another tribute to Walt's father.
Could be. I mean, the mustache and everything again.
And again, another father figure who's harsh but humanized. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd certainly agree.
He was showing genuine worry for Arthur there.
Yeah, he was. He does care.
It's just one of those. He just.
He's not impressed in the slightest.
You've been eating the same chicken leg for like.
Hey, he'd probably start working on another one. I wonder what is like. Is black magic like some potions that someone's brewing in their basement, like hooch or something? Again. Yeah.
Oh.
Love that.
That animation again. I mean, we'll see it later.
I wonder if the animators...
So see what I mean? Like...
Same animation. He does... It's efficient.
Either he's eating the same bone or he's just eating those chicken legs really quickly.
Yeah. I do love the way they're drawing, like, the fat folds in his neck. It's really good. A lot of character and personality in there. And even then, you can still see where his actual chin rests in there, too, which is great. I don't know if he ever gets his name right. Okay, that was definitely animated by Milk Call. The way
we're gonna see that later.
The way he's animating the head moving and the mouth flapping at the same time. Not a very easy thing to do. Any animator could tell you. See, he even called him a walrus.
Don't you have magic that can patch the roof?
There's only so much he can do, let's be fair. I mean, he can't
He can make it snow, but he can't make it sunny.
Here's the thing. Is there anything about the potential of Archimedes being a bit of a Frank Welker type? You know, being the second hand to Walt?
Wait, Frank Welker?
No, Frank Wells. Frank Wells. Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're off by a couple decades.
And also by a few letters too many.
No, wait, no, because then he started as Fred a couple years after this, but...
Yeah.
I didn't start with Disney for, like, a couple of years. No, no, no! I love the way he says that. And we'll see that animation again, too.
Because the thing is, like, Merlin made it snow, but he's probably drawing from, like, I don't know, water in the air. He can't just patch the roof with nothing. He needs materials to work with. Pellinor doesn't show up a lot. I mean, he does show up at least one more time. And I like his design and his voice.
And a guy
that can
rock a pink outfit.
Like,
he can rock a pink outfit.
Yeah, and you can see the fat folds in his neck, too, even with how skinny he is. It's delightful little animations like that. Little decisions like that. Yep. I love the little mustache thing he does. I love that little mustache bit.
Yeah, figures that they...
It's probably just like 3 or 4 frames played back and forth. It's very simple, but it's so funny.
Like, why not? Why not?
Well, it's the same kid from the last scene. I wonder if they had that background element. I don't think they did. I think this movie is definitely a budget film, so they probably had to draw the cutoff of the table onto the character directly. But of course, the animator can just trace that, you know? And all they'd really need to do is trace it once, then you can Xerox that line, that one line, onto every celluloid, you know?
Blue Heart Tattoo kind of wants to see what he looks like as a human. I mean, there are fanfic artists out there, so why don't you give it a try? I'd be all for seeing that.
I think with his design and his featheriness, I would definitely say that he would definitely kind of look similar to Gibbs from Pirates of the Caribbean with, like, the mutton chops, going for the side feathers look, you know what I'm saying? I love that. He's a bit of an absent-minded fellow.
Honestly, though, that's me in the morning. I'm like, where am I? Right.
What year is it? Oh, God, what happened to his armor?
I had this...
Even the horse ain't having a good time.
I can tell why Walt may have liked this film because of.
It's the kid who picked himself up from nothing and then made it to the top of the world. That's a very personal story for Walt.
Yeah. Like future Walt's teaching young Walt.
Yeah, in a sense, which is so that even if Walt did pick up on the
and his voice has changed again.
Yep. God. Take a shot. Yep. What? I mean, how so? Would Giacomo have been of proper birth? So I got that movie on my brain right now.
It was a law that knights only came from nobility.
Well, rules of chivalry be hanged, I guess. That's a fun movie. We wouldn't watch it for this because it's not animated, but I definitely recommend Court Jester. Watch it. It's so much fun. Danny Kaye, Basil Rathbone. There's a lot of greats.
Yeah.
I think we had Basil Rathbone. He was the narrator on the Mr. Toad segment.
And he was Rat in that segment.
Yeah. This little owl, I love him. Love that. You'd think.
I mean, he is an owl. He's an owl. He's nocturnal.
little quick wit on that lad. He would make a good king with that clever
he's like,
wit.
Wait a minute. Yeah, and he's like, wait, did you just assault me?
Gotta give him some credit. With that kind of cleverness and wit, he'd make a great king. Because, like, a lot of the fun is just all of these shenanigans, because we already know the inevitable fact that Arthur is king of England. We know it's all set, you know? His destiny was kind of chosen for him. Blue Heart, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't get what is the connection
Grandma,
with that?
it's me, Anastasia.
Grandma,
what?
it's me, Anastasia. Didn't know the Bluth film. Lose, Ida, and Hootie doing a version of this? That would be so... Ooh! Owl House, Sword in the Stone AU. Somebody get on that. That'd be so much fun. She'll be true Queen of England.
Oh God, you're right. It does feel like that. I've been teaching kids swimming all day. This is a lot more interesting to watch now.
It's a very interesting way of teaching
like
swimming.
helicopter. Never mind.
Yeah. Though funny how Arthur didn't call him out on suitcase. As a little IMDb trivia for you there.
Let me just see that.
Suitcases didn't exist, and he wasn't confused by him saying suitcase, though. This is the thing.
Right.
Here's our third song, everybody. Third song, everybody.
This frog's just being a jerk for no reason.
He's a pretty fun character. Again, you get these characters who only show up for one scene, and then they're a lot of fun. Animators really know how to, you know, make a lot of fun with these. That's what an animator's job is. It's to have fun with it. Interesting. I think they're using like a mask effect there. Yep. Well, this is like it's been the same voice actor the whole scene, so hasn't changed yet. Hang on. Isn't this kid... This is Mowgli, right? No. No.
And you notice that the castle was above him?
Huh.
Shadowing.
This is great. Finding Arthur. Man, we're just in the puns game tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, I see what he's saying. Like why aim so low when you could do so much more?
And again, also a little funny because we know what Arthur is destined for.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a squire, but if you...
But you could go, yeah, like he ambitions to be a squire, but destiny has other plans for him. Like it is magically ordained that he will become.
Yeah, no, because everybody.
Oof. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like nobody else expects anything from him. Merlin's the only one who sees a potential.
Yep.
Uh-oh. It's tigers and it's wolves.
Okay, I think we may actually have the origins of Finding Nemo character. Though I guess, yeah.
Now, who would put a barracuda in their moat?
Yeah.
Merlin! A lot of these songs kind of get cut off.
Yeah. I think, like, his Impossible Things song doesn't get cut off. It just kind of ends a little cockeyed.
It's like, what point? I was supposed to learn something?
Origins of a little gag from Little Mermaid. So there you are. Again, not ripping the animation, but definitely ripping the idea from this. Definitely a nice little homage. And
this thing creeped me out as a kid.
now this would probably be a match for the wolf from Peter and the Wolf with its yellow and red eyes and legit freaky look. And oh, I wouldn't worry. Wouldn't worry about it too much. It's not a problem. Don't worry.
Pulling a spear from the ground.
Don't worry. He's not gonna pop up out of nowhere and get the drop on you. No. That's not gonna happen. Don't worry about it. Ah, there he is! Oh no, God!
Ah! Man, that really swift shot of his mouth opening, like, the...
They really, like, legit Disney jump scare. Wait, didn't they also do that in Little Mermaid 2? I don't remember. Like, putting something in the mouth to just No, that did happen in Peter Pan, though, with, like, Captain Hook's legs just keeping the crocodile open. Oof.
Yeah, for a grumpy owl, you're pretty heroic.
And also a little like Dory, just a bit absent-minded.
I love Archimedes. He's such a lovable grump.
And he does what he can, and he really does. And also, similarly to Merlin and Sir Ector, he does care for him. You know? Even then, like, he's also the only one who stays with him by the end. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Even he calls it out.
Yeah.
Let's be perfectly fair. Like, you would want a barracuda in your moat.
I mean, it doesn't help the people.
They did change the voice here.
It doesn't help the point of a moat is to keep out intruders. Barracuda doesn't really do much to keep out intruders. You need a gator at least. I mean, crocodile or... Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. This is England. Never mind.
Well, barracuda would have fucked him up, you know? Probably. Oh, boy.
Needs to be repeated, too. Golly fluff.
Oh God, yep.
Voice change.
Well, give the 12 now because they got that animation from earlier. I think they might have. Was that
a lot of the running and walking there?
Yeah, because like, didn't they?
Okay, if we were taking shots
And
for
I think
animation repeats, I'd be drunk by now.
Yeah, the voice is different again. Are we on our third, fourth, or even like fifth voice actor? And that's not the same voice that was singing. Give it up for 14, Blue Heart. Changed it again! Put up for 15! God. I feel bad for the production of this movie, like, legit. Okay, I think we're still on the same voice. I think. 15 shots!
This animation.
Yeah. For a movie with a magic person that has the Sherman Brothers writing songs, we have things cleaning themselves up.
Does this count as another song, or is this a reprise?
This is a jazzy ass reprise of Higgitus Figgitus, and I fucking dig it. Swing it, baby. Chicka chicka cha, chicka chicka, chicka chicka, chicka chicka. I mean, he's got a point. As long as nobody finds out, of course. Which could never happen! Merlin changing his voice on purpose?
Yeah. Eat your heart out, Lumiere.
Yeah. I guess more connections we could draw to Beauty and the Beast with the dancing dishes and all that. But we also have the sweet self-sweeping broom from Sleeping Beauty in there as well. Because from Sorcerer's Apprentice, they would have had arms and they would be walking around instead.
Yeah, I showed this to the kids I babysit, and one of them was like a 10-year-old boy. When he first saw this, he's like, oof. Wow, so this kid can become king? That means I can do anything.
I don't think you should... Oh, different voice again. 16. But yeah, the yell is not going to count because they're just recycling that yell, like, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, baby steps. I love how the dialogue works with the...
Yep, there they go. It was the same squirrel, you're right. Now I'm trying
to remember what the official name for the squirrel is. I want to say Red.
That was like Jeanette or something? Or maybe that's some other furry character.
Jeanette's a chipmunk.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of the Chipettes, yeah. Yep. Merlin transforms himself into a gray squirrel while Wart is a red. In reality, gray squirrels were imported to England from North America, after which they gradually dominated all the forest and made the red squirrel almost extinct. Oof. Damn, writer. It sounds like a rabbits in Australia kind of situation. Except it's squirrels for squirrels. Yowza.
This scene is where you could teach kids about the importance of consent.
Just harassment. It's harassment is what it is.
It could come from the girls' side too, that's true.
It is just blatantly harassment.
Marlon! I mean, I guess you want to teach him to say no.
Oh, God.
Ew.
Leave him alone. Exactly.
Ew.
Oh, God, she's relentless.
God, she likes it rough.
Come on, they said it was July. It's past this point. Come on. I mean, I know that for seahorses and swans, but is that true for squirrels?
I mean, she's an animal, so they have different... But still, Merlin, do something.
Merlin, now you're just being a jackass.
It's a harsh way to teach him a lesson about Enneagram. Next, new song. Squirrels do not mate for life.
Ah.
Not uncommon for females to mate with multiple males.
She'll find some other squirrel then.
But it is usually the female in the relationship who chooses which males she wants to mate with. Yeah, females are pretty much the dominant in the relationship.
We're definitely running with that angle.
See? Wolf came back.
Yep. You caught me on that.
You just sleeping here?
Again, Merlin is catty little.
Merlin is
this catty little bird as well. Can you blame her though?
Oh man, the chat here. Harassment has never been so adorable. Oh, she did. She did worse than Pepe Le Pew. What the hell is this chat section?
The chat's going off.
I always love that line. Merlin, you're not being helpful. And here's Karma.
See, the song properly ends, just gets a little cockeyed.
Yeah, this is karma, Merlin, for not helping Arthur.
Yep. At least the jackass gets it in the end. I want to point out that there is actual fan art of what if the little squirrel was turned into a human.
Some people theorize that went back for the squirrel and then she became Guinevere or something like that.
I don't know. That could make some sense. I'd buy it. Be kind of cute. She was just a little too pushy at first.
I'm an old man. Yeah, well, let's take into account they're animals. This is their way of going.
When a bear meets a bear, say it with a slap.
Speaking of which, Disney and promoting aggressive flirting.
that line read of Impossible really sticks with me because this sequence is used on like one Disney Scenic DVD.
How does it feel, Merlin? How does it feel, Merlin? How does it feel?
Oh God. Ooh, I think we got like 2 different yells in there. Though I guess one of those helps was recycled, so don't count for that one.
Okay. One credit we give to the girl squirrel there. She's
trying.
She was immediately into sync.
It very much is a if he dies, you die kind of scenario. She does not like want anything bad happening to him. Most squirrels would probably not put themselves in danger like this.
that scream. She straight up bit his ankle. And she outsmarted him.
Clever little thing. You can't outfox a fox, but a wolf, well, that's another story altogether. Going up the river.
I think that's the last we see of him.
Yep. As I knew
Just
there
join
was
the
a
Rescue
certain...
Rangers, girl. Aggressive Twitter baiting. God, the chat's going wild in this scene.
This is a great moment. I love her reaction.
Own it.
He is an ugly motherfucker, but I love him. He's kind of like got that Mario kind of adorableness about him. Well, maybe not Mario. Mario doesn't have, gray hairs and a giant beard. What am I thinking of? I guess Sir Ian McKellen, as Gandalf.
This is satisfying.
Yeah. I guess this is why people create the AU where Merlin turns her into a human. Because this is kind of upsetting. Like, it's like,
okay, but
you do feel
I think
a little
this
bad.
Also kind of foreshadows the whole Arthur, Lancelot, Guinevere thing.
Woof.
I mean,
it's like if her first love would turn from her like that, then she could probably turn from him.
but sometimes it doesn't work that way.
And it's not always romantic. When love makes the world go round, it's, just kindness in general. Here's a character we never see again, I don't think.
Well, we see her once.
God, he's just stuck in his frenzy here.
I actually don't blame him for that.
Yeah.
That was self-defense.
Wait a minute, I heard this voice.
I think... Is that also Madam Mim?
It could be.
I'm
just trying to think of who it is, because I've heard her in, one of the previous movies, right?
They're cleaning dishes.
Yes, wait, she was in the last movie. She was Nanny.
Right there.
She was Nanny in the last movie.
That right there was from 101 Dalmatians. When he went, oh, remember Jasper? When he was hitting the head?
Yeah, when he got hit on the head, they did... Again, this one's a budget movie. and yeah, that's the same voice as Nanny from the previous movie.
I mean, if they already had the actress and they needed someone to be this one-off character, then...
Yeah, let's be fair. Give some credit. Both of these movies are probably being worked on at the same time, so they share a lot of animation and a lot of voices.
Okay, but this whole scene is just...
Just imagine when the assembly line gets interrupted. I think that's another voice. I think that's another voice change. New voice again. Yeah. They repeat this animation, but they add bubbles in a different outfit.
Okay, we won't ever wash dishes and sweep floors again. That animation.
They're really repeating the animation.
They add the sword. They add the sword.
Yep.
That animation.
I love these little round eyes and these tiny pupils. Voice changed again.
Goodness.
Oof.
Yeah! Man. That's from the 60s.
1963. And the movie probably had like a 3-year production cycle, so probably 1960 when this started production.
And this.
Well, now that was uncalled for.
Really unnecessary.
Oof. Half of the dishes are broken.
But hey, you stood up for friend.
I want to say that's the same actor as the last scene, though.
I don't know. I was like 3 or 4 voice actors.
All right. Oh, there's that bonk on the head animation again. Because I think that was the... Yeah, well, I don't know. I agree. New
World to be discovered in 1492. Wow, it wasn't even...
Yeah, he's not right. Yeah, he's right.
It's round. Okay, Merlin, you're stopping. Yeah. You're starting from the wrong place. He's right.
Yep.
He's right, actually. You really can't learn history in reverse.
It was like, he does...
Now that's a lot. Yes!
Oof. Yep.
Yes, always start at the bottom.
Archimedes did not do that. He had to get... He like, how did he even convince Merlin to set that up? Because Archimedes in no way, shape, or form managed to do that himself.
Considering Walt Disney was like somewhere on the spectrum, and Merlin just going, "Oh yeah, that's good." Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
He wrote
Walt Disney having dyslexia, and then Arthur saying that he can't read.
Woof. Also, can we point out that he wrote both his F and G backward, and then Archimedes had to call it out, like, when it happened again? It's like, he probably was trying to catch up.
Yeah, when you learn more about Walt Disney and watch the movies from his era, I'm like, wow.
Yep.
Oh, here comes my favorite
Yep.
voice acting bit from this movie.
Yeah.
Just let me appreciate this.
Yeah.
Shush.
That's such a great laugh. And the animation on it. That animation in particular is just so funny. Puff, puff, puff. He's not happy.
Yeah, just that. It's like there's no words for that. Like, I've always wanted to. I've always imagined.
Merlin's on his shit again.
I imagine myself laughing that dramatically.
Huh? Uh-huh. Yep.
Hi, Gracie Ann. Like, are you really mansplaining this to me? Oh, he is.
Oof.
Yeah, that's like with swimming.
Yep.
Yeah, best way to learn is to do it.
Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
You can hear a little bit
up
of
to Arthur.
little mild motif that sounded a little borrowed from Spoonful of Sugar. You hear it? There's a little bit of a motif stolen from
Whoa!
Spoonful of Sugar. Twice, like in the same track here. They're flying around. Uh-oh.
Now that I think about it, didn't we see the hawk in the beginning along with the squirrel?
Yes, we did also see a hawk flying into the dark woods. Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
We're just setting it all up. I think some people would deride this movie for being like...
It's a witch's hat.
It's great. So much personality. That's what animation is good for.
How many times have we heard that scream from him?
Like 4, I think.
Here she is.
Yep. Yep, it is the same actress.
Here she is, our purple and pink witch.
Love it. Love her so much. You will very rarely see her as a Disneyland character, but like for certain Halloween events, you might see her at Disney World. Love her design and attitude. Look at her big bloomers and then skinny little leg ends coming out right where the ankle is. It's such a great design.
Another song.
This would be like 4th, yeah? 4th. No. Opening. Higgitus Figgitus. 5th. This would be our 5th song. Song number 5.
No. You know what? No.
Yep.
It's a very interestingly sung song because, like, half speaking, half singing.
It's what creates a lot of character in a song like this, you know? Also, I haven't talked about it a lot, but the effects animation is also great in this movie. It's so, like, the magic stuff that goes on.
And we see that later. We see that later in The Princess and the Frog. Sort of.
Oh, yes, we do see a little homage to that.
Kind of hoodoo.
Yeah.
Okay. Unrealistic proportions.
Animators.
Considering this is an evil witch, so I can let the unrealistic proportions go.
Arthur is very confused right now.
Oh yes.
Because she's an old woman, but she looks like nothing he's ever seen before, quite literally. I love how she owns that she's an ugly old creep. I love it. She's just delightful. Her, like, if she wasn't an evil bitch, she'd be a real pleasant person. Like, God, you just want to invite her to a party, but you know that she'd turn everyone into a newt.
Useful.
Why couldn't she just say kill you? And then a little Cheshire Cat moment when she says she's mad about games. I love it. I love it. Everything is so great here. I mean, no stripes, but still, definitely.
You know, I didn't think about this, but when we first see Madame Mim, she's playing solitaire. She's honestly just bored. That's why she's just torturing this kid.
Also, I wanted to say very Cheshire Cat eyes, but the Cheshire Cat's eyes are just stark yellow.
You know, this interaction with witches won't be the first witch you'll deal with. I mean, last witch you'll deal with, I mean.
Wait, Mim. Morgana? What if Mim is Morgana?
I'm not so sure, because Morgana's supposed to be his sister.
Who? Oh, Merlin's sister?
No, Arthur's sister.
Oh.
His half-sister.
Well, I can definitely see them wanting to include... wait, it wasn't like you can probably think about it in the room where it's like, oh, isn't there supposed to be like a... Like the good sorcerer Merlin and then the evil witch? It's like, well, let's include an evil witch. Why not, you know? So she at least is a placeholder for Morgana.
All right.
What a bitch. I love it. The Wizard's Duel is shown in animation schools because the characterization and what animation can do, like all the transformations and everything. Oof. Huh. Oh boy.
Little Song of the South reference.
Probably. Interesting how Merlin actually took Arthur's advice there.
Yeah. Because
Arthur's using his head. Beautiful.
You know, she always goes for the predator. He always goes for the ones that can the one that can get away.
Yeah. Well, I think here's a moment though.
Yeah. Walrus. I don't know. Walruses can be pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Elephant, not necessarily. Okay, but she does kind of go like bigger, better, and all that. You see what I mean?
Love this. This gag is always funny. Hey, there we
hello,
go.
Tigger.
Purple stripes. Purple stripes on a pink cat. Came up eventually.
Also kind of tiggery.
Love the way she scrunches up there. It's very funny. I love it so much.
Yeah, Min mostly transforms into predatory animals, while he transforms into what someone considered prey. Crabs are definitely prey to some.
Oh, indeed. Unless they're large enough. I don't think anyone in America, you know, making this movie at the time was aware of something like a coconut crab. Here we go. Again, yeah, I think that's another key moment there for why this is shown in animation schools, because that transformation is so good.
Yeah, plus we're seeing the same two characters, just as many different creatures.
Yeah! She's inferring that pink dragons don't exist, but any other color, you can find a dragon, you can find it in that color. Ooh, and this is also just brilliant.
Yes.
I love it.
Germs are technically an animal.
They are an animal. In some capacity. Very small, single-celled bacterial organisms. As a dragon, that's not going to be great.
Yeah, you are old.
Yeah.
For the size in the elephant's case. Oh no, they're teeth on elephants. I love how he still gives her the prescription despite her not wanting it.
Imagine having to suffer through the cure.
Yeah.
Months go by, and it's Christmas Eve once again.
Yeah, so
And no, we're not going to count this to the songs, because this is not a musical theater type number here.
This is a drinking song. It's like a Stolat Vietnam song.
It's not even like Scumps, where they had a few verses. It may even just be a traditional drinking song, like, not just made up for the movie. Like, it may just be a existing song. Public domain, old song.
Who knighted you, though, if there's no king? That's what I don't get.
Who will be knighted if there's no king?
Maybe it was the Pope.
Well, there's other noblemen.
Wait a minute, no.
There's other noblemen. Maybe a duke could knight him.
Same animation.
Yep.
I never see this Hobbs guy.
The voice went back again.
And then
seriously,
again.
they really love that yell. And I think that's the same voice actor, but just older again. Oof.
Merlin,
Man.
you can at least say, nice, you got a job for now.
And off like a rocket.
Scribe says in the book, Mim actually dies from the sickness.
Oof. I'd buy it. She doesn't like sunshine, so she's not gonna accept the cure.
He just casually leaves to Bermuda.
At least he stayed. I appreciate that Archimedes stayed. Like,
I mean, where's he gonna go? Merlin was his meal ticket.
I mean, fed up with Merlin's stubbornness and really, really cares.
That horse charging there was from Sleeping Beauty. Either
Ooh,
Sleeping Beauty
that horse vaguely looks like Ichabod, like the headless horseman.
Or the headless horseman, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if they're recycling the animation, but definitely the design.
I'd be mad too, honestly. Hey, wait a minute. That was from the woods earlier.
Yep, tripped, and then the same running animation, just with a giant coat on.
Here we are.
Off we go.
Or maybe it's because he has no ambition that he's... Yeah.
What the hell could possibly be going on? I love that curiousness, and then he's just like... yeah, you know, damn it.
He doesn't even think about it. He's just like...
They at least see the heavenly light. I wonder if they hear the angelic choir.
They should not be holding the sword like that.
He's got gloves on. Pretty thick gloves, I imagine, as well. Okay, that's definitely... Yeah.
The last name's Samson.
Oof. Archimedes knows what's up. Or at least somewhat. Because he was there. He saw the whole thing. Anyone who's ever been to Fantasyland at most Disney parks recognizes this imagery because, like, again, the movie may not have been super popular, but, again, like, they even
it's the most iconic moment.
They even changed the name of King Stephen's Carousel to King Arthur's Carousel. And you'd know because of all the Sleeping Beauty images in the carousel.
Thank you, Random Thirst Ravenscroft. Who even is this character's name?
I don't know. He could be the Lord of the House of Ravens, I guess.
Yeah, it's the most iconic moment of this movie. Whoa. Yeah. When we finally hear his actual name since the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
he's having this realization moment, like.
Yeah.
He's real. God, look at the expression. He's been so humbled. God, I feel that. Like, God, the way I treated the fucking king. Oh man, all these years. Oh God, I've been such an ass.
Yeah, but he does become a knight of the round table.
I'd buy that. That's a good plan. A fleur-de-lis in England? All of those patterns? You know, I'll grant you that, Scribe, because the King Arthur in Quest for Camelot was blonde, but not Disney movie, so...
I did always think that. I mean, although Quest for Camelot and Sword in the Stone were different companies, it did really feel like they could have been.
I think they recycled that voice line from earlier, though.
In Bermuda shorts and everything. Take that, 1960s.
I think for once he's actually come around. A little bit.
Round. World is round. Like, what's that?
Ah, yes, because that will make sense.
This does kind of end pretty abruptly, though.
Yes, it certainly does.
Oh boy, Matt, what happened?
That was the Goofy Night for a Day cartoon, which I think is also on Disney Plus. So if you guys want to give that a watch, it's pretty good. Except for Blue Heart on Disney Plus. Oh God.
Okay, now I'm trying to look it up exactly what the name of Thurl Ravenscroft's character is.
Well, that
supposed to be someone important.
Let's see.
I'm looking.
Hang on, I'm gonna. His hair's finally.
Black Bart, uncredited apparently.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh no, wait. I think most of them were uncredited because they don't actually say which character they play.
At least nowadays, you'll have like their names placed under additional voices.
Oh, Ravenscroft.
So, yeah, that was The Sword and the Stone. You know, for all intents and purposes, probably one of the weaker movies, honestly.
Yes. So, yes, the voice of Madam Mim, Martha Wentworth, she was also the old lady squirrel and the scullery maid.
Makes a lot of sense. But yeah, honestly, it's fun, and I personally love it, and the songs are pretty good as well. Love Madam Mim and the Wizard's Duel, but
wait, now I know where. Okay, the actor for Sir Pellinor, you know, the pink mustache guy.
Yep.
He's okay in the Batman animated series with Adam West. He's why am I blanking on his name? Was Alfred? Yes.
It was Alfred in the animated series. I can't.
No, not the animated series. In Batman in Adam West.
Okay, all right.
Yes, because this is 60s,
well,
remember? Yeah, yes.
Honestly, yeah. It does
Ellen
feel...
Napier.
I mean, the movie's fun. It's got a lot of fun segments, but the thing is, like, for as connected as those segments actually are, as we kind of pointed out in this watch through, like with how they foreshadow the hawk and the squirrel and all that, it does feel like a bunch of disjointed segments just slapdash together. And for all intents and purposes,
I think part of that is because kind of like changed the story halfway through. Changing directors.
I could definitely imagine that being the case, because aside from the through line of, hey, let's put an animation of the hawk and the squirrel at the front of the movie, it's like that probably could have been the last thing they animated, right? And that they had no intention of really fully connecting these segments. All these segments were like, oh no, let's do this scene. No, let's do this scene. And then they just kind of, and probably also why the 3 scenes all just feel like the Warner Brothers logo should be in front of them. It's like Merlin and Arthur on their silly little transform into animals adventures, you know? But yeah, it's, but you know, it's, and it recycles a lot of animation, so that also makes it feel like, well, and it is a budget film, so it's like, but even the animation they recycle and the animation they don't recycle, I think the count is still like 5 for songs.
Okay, so Arthur was voiced by 3 different boys: Ricky Sorensen, Richard Reitherman, and Robert Reitherman. No, Bruce Reitherman would be Mowgli.
Yeah, so it definitely sounds like one of those 3 went through puberty. Because I know for a fact, I did hear the other 2 voices, but one of those voices was just the boy getting older over the course of production. You could even hear the point at which puberty started hitting for him specifically, and before his voice got deeper.
Yeah,
you can actually hear the part.
This was the last animated film that Disney was alive to see the conclusion of.
Yeah.
And I was right. The first Disney animated feature with the Sherman Brothers songs.
We're gonna have. I think we'll have a slightly stronger showing with next week's film. I'll definitely say that much. But I do like the movie. I do enjoy it. There's a reason that this film has become iconic, and it's because, like I said, even the one-off characters, whether they have a speaking role or a non-speaking role, it's like, they're so freaking iconic, you know? You know, it's just like, they're like the old lady squirrel, the frog, the barracuda, and and Mim herself, just an absolute delight, you know? It's just, they're so much fun, you know? They're one-offs, they're in their separate parts of the movie, but they're fun, you know?
Okay, so here's a fun little tidbit. So Merlin transforms Arthur into a red squirrel and transforms himself into a gray squirrel. And gray squirrels actually were imported into England no sooner than the 1870s. That's actually funny, considering Merlin is kind of living in time backwards. So yeah, he turns himself into a gray squirrel, which don't exist yet in England.
Whoops. Yeah, I was gonna say, Ryder actually put that in the chat way back there as well.
I don't know, there's a lot.
But yeah, no, I definitely, I'll definitely come and say that the movie has its faults, but it's also enjoyable. What would you say? What's your final conclusion of this film?
I definitely like it. I think it's definitely a fun one to watch as a kid, especially.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because it's like that kid fantasy. I definitely had that fantasy that I'd be turned into a fish or a squirrel or a bird. Yeah, that it was always a lot of fun, and oh god, Archimedes, just all those moments like, you bum, blockhead, or the yeah, and just that laugh. Every time I'd burst out laughing, I just had Archimedes in my head. Like, is that how I look right now?
You gotta love you gotta absolutely love the how in order he does get Arthur to try to reach higher. He starts in the water, then on the land, in the trees, and then in the air. He's like, kind of a bit of a progression going on there. So it's like, even though the segments do feel like, some different guy directed literally each of them, there is a connective tissue there. It's like, they draw a good thread between it, but to most people, it can feel disjointed, and I don't disagree with them. So it's like...
Yeah, also, what he learns, and he learns to use his brain rather than his brawn. He learns to stick up for himself, because in the beginning he's like, I'm sorry, sir. Yeah, you're right. Okay, thank you very much, but for the opportunity. But after the squirrel, and he's like asserting himself.
He's got it because he's got.
No, I don't want this, and And that's later in turn like, no, Merlin is good. And just because you don't understand something doesn't mean it's wrong. By the way,
yeah,
what a quote for the 1960s, huh?
Yeah, right. Right at like the front, like at the beginning of the civil rights movement, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
63. That would have been the Birmingham campaign.
Yeah,
as for starters.
Very, very, very good.
Yeah. Yeah, we had the huge hippie movement as well. So
well, Bambi was Fizzy. Twitter paid it. Bambi was based off a book, so the word probably comes from the book, probably.
Interpreted. I'm not sure. I didn't read the book, but I know it's a lot darker. If you could get darker than what Disney actually did with it.
Well, to be fair, Disney adds the lighter tone to it, but still keeps some fucked up shit like the forest being set on fire by careless humans and Bambi's mom getting shot. But again, trying to talk about this movie, they definitely cleaned up a lot more. Like, I feel like they were really smart about where to keep their pen. Like, because there are some bits in 101 Dalmatians where you could just completely see the construction lines on a character, like, for just, like, 1 or 2 shots. But in this movie, you could definitely see an effort on the animators to be like, oh, so basically we gotta erase that shit before we send this to print. Okay. And I noticed toward the end where Sir Ector was at the table, or, like, Arthur was at the window. And I could tell, oh yes, they did use the Xerox method. They were like, what they did was they basically had a line drawn that was traced around the background art, and then they just basically, they basically copy that and lay it on top of the other frames of animation so that when you Xerox it, you don't get a bunch of boiling lines at the edge of the, the background art, so you don't really notice that the line is even there. It's really clever. I think it's really clever.
Yeah.
Probably not the first time that Disney has used a method to keep their celluloids separate, but by this point they're basically swimming in plastic, because I don't think there was a single separated piece of celluloid to make a character's arm move, because it's just like, it's printed, so they just got to paint every single piece of celluloid, so it's like, it makes less work for the inks department, like 0 work for the inks department, so they probably move those people over to the paints department. And if it's a route for efficiency, I suppose, but just an interesting thing to think about. But that's going to be it for this week's film. Thank you all so much for joining us on this magical adventure. And if you're viewing this after the fact for any goddamn reason, thanks for watching. And until next time, remember to take care, stay safe, and be kind in all that you do. I was going to do some reference to the movie, but I couldn't think of anything.
And so long, my dear subjects.
Hail King Arthur! Long live the king, everybody!
Hail!